Are you stuck at 15% body fat right now? Are you the type of guy whose real goal is to get down to 10% body fat, but you find that every time you try to break through 15% and get leaner, take one step forward or two steps forward, you keep going back to 15% as if there's some kind of invisible ceiling keeping you there and keeping you from breaking through to that next level? And if that's you, if you've been struggling with this for months, or even years, in this video, I'm gonna share with you why. I'm gonna tell you why you're stuck, and once you overcome this, you'll actually be able to get to 10% body fat and take your physique to the next level. And by the way, there is no magic solution for this. This is not gonna be a quick fix. I'm not gonna give you like one little tactic that can solve this. There is no such thing. This is gonna require a lot of work. And I've actually just read this interesting statistic recently that said that it's easier to become a millionaire than to get a six-pack, statistically speaking. So it's actually pretty difficult. And I've been between 10 and 12% body fat for more than 6 years now. And I know how hard that can be. And even getting there for the first time was even much, much harder. So I want to share with you actually why you're stuck where you are stuck now and how you can change your approach and actually get down to 10% body fat. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Mario Tomic. Welcome. If you're interested in fitness, nutrition, and if you love personal development, if you want to improve yourself, consider subscribing and also make sure to enable notifications to get notified of future videos. And now let's dive into it. So why do so many guys get stuck at 15% body fat? What's so special about this number? As I said earlier, I've been at 10 to 12% body fat for more than 6 years now, and I actually even pushed it to 7 or 8% body fat in some cases where I did a photo shoot or something like that. And before I did that, and here's the truth, I was actually at 15% body fat for almost a year, trying to break through that ceiling, trying to break through that plateau. And initially, before that, I was actually between 22 and 25% body fat at my highest. I was a pro gamer, I was playing World of Warcraft, I actually graduated as a software engineer, I studied computer science, I was a really nerdy, fat guy who had a really hard time doing anything with his body, and I was never really that athletic type who was just doing things and naturally being very lean. And that's the thing with that, like at that position, I realized that getting from 15% to 10% is different than getting from 25% to 15%. And that's what I want to share with you here. What's that shift that you need to make? And it's not something like intermittent fasting or keto or some kind of low carb or doing HIIT, because I tried all of that stuff. I tried eating 2 meals per day. I tried eating 6 meals per day. I tried doing intermittent fasting, skipping breakfast or skipping dinner. I tried a little bit of keto even. I tried a little bit of low carb. I tried a ton of cardio. I tried intervals. I tried everything, but nothing really worked for me getting from 15% to 10% until I made really this one shift that really solved this issue for me. And I realized what was the true problem. Now, me being at 20% body fat, 25% at my highest, this is where I was desperate. I was actually in real pain. I realized that my physique and my body and my health was a mess. I felt bad, I had low energy levels, I didn't want to take off my shirt, I was getting super sweaty every time I'd walk up a flight of stairs. I just felt heavy, I just felt out of shape. And this condition that I was in was actually a great source of energy and motivation to push myself from 25% to 15%. And I was successful at that. I used that to drive me, to fuel me, to take action, to do whatever it takes to get down to 15% body fat. Now here's the problem. That same thing doesn't work from going to 15% to 10%, because at 15% I feel good. I was fine. There was none of that pain with being disgusted with taking off your shirt. There's none of that pain with feeling fat and just looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, man, I'm not happy with this appearance. That's not me. I don't want to be this guy. There's none of that. At 15% actually, I was in much better shape than anybody around me. I was in much better shape than I ever was in my life. And I felt good. I had good energy levels. I was eating it right. I was training, and really, there was nothing driving me to get down 10% body fat except this idea in my head that I had that would be really cool to have a six-pack. And that was the true problem. The same motivation that was driven by desperation from 25 to 15% is not gonna work anymore from 15 to 10. And that's what I see a lot of guys trying to do. They're trying to apply the same level of motivation, the same mindset, the same strategies, going from 25 to 15 or 20 to 15, instead of changing their approach now from going to 15 to 10. And I've seen with a lot of guys actually to reach out for me to mentor them, to coach them, to help them overcome this. And maybe right now you're struggling with this, is that their motivation actually is really high when they start their journey, and then as they go through the journey, the motivation actually goes down instead of the motivation going up when you really need it the most, which is toward the end, toward those exponentially harder goals, which is 10% body fat, right? Think of this. Going from 25% to 20% body fat, it's like a decently sized bridge. It's pretty wide, you can just walk over it. From 20 to 15, the bridge gets a little bit narrower. Now from 15 to 10, at the end, as you get closer to that 10% body fat, the bridge is almost like a tightrope. So every little mistake, every little thing that you fluctuate a little bit in your motivation, driven a lot and you're just not pushing yourself a lot, is enough for you to fall off track and for you to actually not be able to push yourself to get to that 10% because you're now making a lot of mistakes. So the same approach that can be wishy-washy and not as optimal to get to 15% and it's gonna work, now it doesn't work anymore. Now you need more drive, now you need more motivation, now you need better discipline, now you need better systems in your life to actually stay consistent to push it to 10% body fat. And that's what's missing for a lot of guys. They get too complacent. They actually get to 15% and they look around them, okay, well, I'm in good shape, I'm better than average and I'm okay, I'm good. But which standard are you looking at, right? What is the standard that you have for yourself? Are you looking to be the best that you can be? Like, is your goal to be the best you can possibly be in this area of your life? And that's really what you need to get clear on. What are your core values? What's the type of person you want to be? Are you the type of guy who's not going to settle for average? Are you the type of guy who's not going to settle for anything less but the best? Because that's exactly what you need to be if you want to get down to 10% body fat, if you're not blessed with some kind of magical genetics like I don't have those. I had to work really hard to get down to 10%. And I know other guys easily, no problem whatsoever. But if you're struggling with this, I know you don't have the genetics. So you're gonna have to change your approach. You're gonna have to get much more precise, much more disciplined, much more detailed, and it requires this mental shift, which is really the real reason why you're stuck here, is because you're not driven the same way you were to get to 15%. You don't have that fire within. You don't have that passion to figure it out, to really work hard, to stick with it. Maybe you stick with it for a few weeks, but then, party comes out, a binge comes out, some kind of, holiday vacation stuff comes out. Same as what happened to me. That's exactly why I was stuck at 15. I would be okay for 2-3 weeks, then something would happen, I would binge my way back up to 15 because it was okay. There was no consequences. There was no real sense of urgency. There was no real deadline. I was just thinking of it like, oh, it would be a nice goal to get. And then it never happens. I was literally just spinning my wheels. I wasn't serious about it. And that's the true reason why I get stuck there. It's not the supplement. It's not the magical tactic of skipping a meal here or there. No, it's that. It's literally that. It's my whole approach. My entire mindset was wrong. My psychology was wrong. And that was affecting everything else because I would find a way to self-sabotage myself. Same as you can find a way to self-sabotage yourself no matter how good your training or how good your nutrition is, no matter how good your recovery is. And look, those things are important. Totally, 100%. Good training program, absolutely. Nutrition has to be dialed in. Sleep, recovery has to be dialed in. But this also is really, really important, is your overall approach, your mentality, how you have this mindset, and are you driven to really bring that goal home? Are you the type of person who's not going to settle for anything less but the best? Are you that type of person? Because that's the guy who's at 10%. And if you're not that guy, if you're not thinking like that, you're not gonna get there, and especially you're not gonna maintain that. And that's really what it takes. It takes that whole mental shift. It takes that different approach and different way of thinking about it. And when you're thinking about it like that, then nothing can stop you. You are gonna find a way. You're gonna find mentors, you're gonna find coaches, you're gonna find the information, the systems, the knowledge, anything that you need to succeed, you're gonna find it. And by the way, if you need help with this, if you need someone to mentor you, to guide you, if you're an entrepreneur or busy professional, if you're struggling with this, and if you wanna really figure this out, if you want someone to give you a system and to work with you side by side to figure it out, I'm gonna leave a link in the description below where you can actually apply to work with me directly so I can personally mentor you to help you reach the 10% body fat and actually take your physique and your health and fitness to the highest level that's possible for you. If you're that guy, if you're the guy who doesn't want to settle for anything less but the best. Now, of course, there are people that are super happy with 15, and I don't want to bash on that. If that's something that's your goal and you want to get there and you're super happy with that, Totally, I respect that. But if you're the type of guy who knows that there's the next level and you know your true potential and you're not actually happy if you don't reach that full potential of yours, if you're not pushing yourself, if you're not improving consistently, then you have to consider this seriously. Because if you are looking at all areas of your life, if you're crushing it in all areas of life except fitness, and in fitness you're kind of stuck, you're trying to figure this out and you're stuck at 15, your work is going great, your relationships are going great, well, now it's time to step up your game in your fitness and really take this thing to the next level. So definitely check out that link if you want mentoring, if you want to work with me directly. I work only with a handful of guys and I take only a handful of guys from time to time, so you do have to apply. Link is going to explain everything. Other than that, I really hope this video helped you. I want to hear from you in the comments. Comment next level below if you resonate with this. If you personally been stuck at 15%, maybe you're stuck there right now, let me know in the comments below. Comment next level and I will see you actually in the next video. I'm also going to leave a video here at the end which you can check out. It's going to further help you with those internal and other obstacles that I think will really add value a lot to your journey. So check out that video that's going to come here at the end screen. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.